Welcome back, everyone. We're doing game reviews on Chess with Naz. Our next game I'm going to review ended much earlier than expected, not because of an attack, uh, but because of a single inaccurate move. And my opponent played the London system and confidently, but one mistake allowed their queen to get trapped. I'm going to walk you through it, and it's very unfortunate, but let's walk through it together. So my opponent started with d4, d5, very standard. Knight comes out to f3. These are early indications of the London system. Now it is a queen's pawn opening. London system would be where the opponent brings the bishop out over here. When it comes to the London system, though, I don't like to play the traditional London system, where I develop my knight here and develop my knight here, and then probably go somewhere here, uh, and then open this up, and then probably castle kingside. But here's why I don't like doing that, because the London system overall is a very strong position for white. So what white wants to do is get their pieces out, like they want to get their bishop out over here, they want to bring this bishop over here, they want to bring these pawns up over here, and then bring their knight over here, and that's their London system that they want to do, and probably the queen over here behind the bishop and point towards the king over here as a battery. My goal when I'm playing against the London system is to get the white player who's playing the London out of their comfort zone. So one of the things I like doing is actually immediately going with c5. And now white has to make a decision. What are they doing? Are they defending or are they taking? And if they're taking, then I'm going to bring my knight out over here. I'm going to bounce out this pawn up here. And now suddenly it's looking very different from a London system, which is what the intent is. So with this situation, I believe white just took straight up, brought my knight out. They bring this pawn out, which is, I think, a wasted move because I'm not intending to put my knight there just yet. But we'll get into that. And that's kind of what the downfall was for my opponent over here. So I brought up my bishop. I'm just trying to develop my pieces. Possibly at some point, get this pawn up over here as well. If I take, and then this is not protected anymore, I can bring out my pawn over there, and then this pawn is eventually hanging over here. So my opponent brought out their knight over here. Now this is why you don't just play the moves of the opening that you're trying to play without thinking about what your opponent has done. Because keep in mind, this bishop has not come out yet. You're blocking that bishop in now, and now you have to force this out somehow and then this out somehow to get that bishop out. This pawn has not opened up yet either. So a lot of things to consider before doing that. So I just move up because that was my plan. The continuity of it is move up the piece. This was a very strange move my opponent made. I wasn't exactly sure what my opponent intended. I'm assuming they wanted to come here, kind of try to trap my knight over here, but I wasn't phased. Now I'm just going to move up. Because if you notice, there are no safe squares left for this knight to go. Every square, except for moving back, sorry, is under attack. So where is this knight going to go? So the knight has to go back. Already this is bad for the white player, because now essentially they have just one minor piece developed. I have one minor piece, two minor piece, a third one ready to come out, and a fourth one ready to come out, and one major piece already looking at where the king's spot is. So good position for black, very open position for black. Meanwhile, white just has three pawns on the queen side, which are just overextended now. So here, I just go back and say, okay, what do you want to do, pawn? Brings their pawn out front. I move my knight out, attacking this pawn. And here my opponent makes this blunder where they just push instead of taking or doing anything about this pawn. So I go ahead and take the pawn. And then my opponent did not see a major threat and chose to attack my knight again. But here, friends, this is just very simple. Checks captures threats. So instead of me trying to defend this knight or get it to a safe spot over here, or maybe over here, try to defend this pawn, how do I take this pawn back? My knight is also under attack. What can I attack instead? And what I can attack instead, folks, was the queen. Because now this poor queen is trapped all the way inside over here with no room to go out. And at this point, my opponent just resigns. Rightfully so. The game hasn't developed. The opponent's pieces are still almost all on the back rank, and all that they have out front are pawns, and this was not a winning position for my opponent, unfortunately. this move, this blunder allowed me to actually get in there and potentially just capture their queen on the next move. So my opponent resigned in this position. Just a reminder, just because you're playing a certain opening doesn't mean you just pump out the moves right away. You have to react to what your opponent is doing as well. So keep that in mind. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Take care.